Welcome in to this edition of North Coast Spotlight on just an absolutely gorgeous day in July. And no question about it, folks, summer has arrived here in the Bay Area, and hope you're getting out and enjoying yourself here in the summer of 2025. On this edition of North Coast Spotlight, of course, we're going to have a little food. We're also going to talk a little sports, and we're also going to go over to a merry-go-round museum, which now has a new addition. But again, we hope you're enjoying yourself this summer. We're only 2 blocks away, right over here where the merry-go-round museum is located. And our first segment is going to be the Cedar Point Museum. This is something that's new and something very unique. So sit back and enjoy this edition of North Coast Spotlight as we take you over to the Cedar Point Museum. Where do you start when you talk about Cedar Point? Long way to go back and a lot to talk about, but we're joined by David Kamen. He's executive director of this museum. And David, thank you for taking time with us today.
Thank you for being here. And
certainly, I don't even know where to begin as we take a look around this facility. After all, we can go back to the 19th century, move through the 20th century. But before we get going and talking about the museum, how did you come up with this idea, my good man?
Well, I would like to take all the credit, but again, it's been a good number of people that have put this together to where it is today. But the reality of it is, as you said, Cedar Point is near and dear to the hearts of everyone, and we all have fond memories of the joy of the family times. And how did it come together? Back in the 70s, I worked Cedar Point.
There you go. Now we got a connection.
There you go.
All right.
And I had the greatest job in the world. I worked nights from 11:30 at night till 8 in the morning, and all I did is change light bulbs. But I saw an empty Cedar Point and the peninsula and all of its beauty, with the shooting stars overhead, the sun rising on the beach. And I went home and I was telling my father how much I just enjoyed being there. And he showed me he had a collection of about 8 postcards. So
Your
at that point, my father did.
Okay,
so at that point in time, I started collecting postcards. And as the years passed, it turned into pennants, it turned into plates, and then it started turning into everything Cedar Point.
But when we start to talk about this actual facility that we've got here, it's more than just that. You go back to the 19th century. How were some of these items collected? How did this come together?
Well, again, a lot of them I had collected over the years. Personally. But in 2022, Cedar Point decided not to reopen their museum in Town Hall.
Okay.
As fate would have it, that same year, we sold our house, and so I had all my Cedar Point memorabilia in bins and boxes. So was looking around at different storefronts downtown Sandusky, because my goal was to bring people to downtown Sandusky, and ended up meeting with Mike Young, one of the board members here at the Merry-Go-Round Museum. He showed us this room, and it made for a perfect marriage.
Absolutely.
Cedar Point and the Merry-Go-Round, what goes better?
Because in the background, I can hear the carousel.
Exactly, it's beautiful. And then I had a wonderful blessing meeting Candy Frankowski, who was the curator of the Town Hall Museum at Cedar Point, and she really has been a tremendous asset in organizing everything chronologically. So our oldest item is from 1893, a ribbon that companies wore when they came and visited Cedar Point, and then we go all the way to the present.
Well, what a great opportunity to have Candy come in here and work with you, because she forgot more about Cedar Point than most of us would know.
That's right.
Sure, and that's what you like to see. But as I look around here at these different artifacts, you have captured the essence of the park. I don't even know where to begin or where to end on this, and that's the beauty of what you've got here, Dave.
Well, and it is never ending. We have over 2,500 individual artifacts. Most of them are one of a kind. They are rare. They are all unique. There's a lot here from the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and people come in and they all talk about, everybody has their individual story, a fond memory, a fond favorite ride, favorite restaurant. Exactly, generational.
That's what you have to love about Cedar Point, and those of you that have gone to Cedar Point since you were kids and you're taking your grandkids there, that's the beauty of that park. It is at the same location. A lot of it still has some of the old factories of Cedar Point that remember as kids. Obviously, the 21st century changes the rides around, but the history of Cedar Point is still there, and you've captured it in this room.
Well, the history of Cedar Point is also the beauty of it being located on the peninsula, on the lake, with that beautiful beach. And through the 1890s, the early 1900s, that is what it is, a beach resort. And you're right, we have a lot of those early souvenirs, a pail and a shovel from 1906, where the attraction then was the beach. And that's still a beautiful attraction today.
You think about the museum itself. and the people that come in here, that just not from our area, but they come from all over the country now because they're word of mouth. You're doing stuff, obviously, with the texting and all the other things that you have out there for social media. The response that those people get.
Oh my goodness, we've had people come from Texas, come from California, really? Certainly Michigan, Indiana, Pennsylvania, because they've heard about us through the media.
Okay.
And again, they're just attracted to Cedar Point. They're just people that love Cedar Point and its history, and they have come to visit us. So
you would also mention that some of the artifacts that you have here are people that you're talking about coming from different states, or you run into somebody, they know somebody that says, I've got a lot of stuff that I would like to donate because it's just sitting there in my home and no one can enjoy it.
We started out, Ken, with 17 display cases, and now we're almost up to 30. But so many people from all over the country have shown up and brought us items that they had or their parents had that they didn't want to throw out. And our goal is to be the repository for everything Cedar Point. And so we keep expanding, we keep growing, and now we're rotating a lot of the display cases with different items in them.
And you can do things, as you mentioned earlier, seasonally on specific days, such as a Mother's Day program where you have something for Father's Day, Labor Day, whatever it may be. So you can rotate a lot of the different things that you have in these cases depending on the time of the year.
Absolutely, and we've been doing that. Sandusky had Restaurant Week in March, and we had a hugely popular display case because it was filled with old menus and old glasses and dining ware from the Surf's Up Lounge, from the Silver Dollar Cafe. Jackie Mayer, of course, Miss America 1963, started out by being crowned in the Cedar Point Ballroom.
Yes.
On August 9th, we are having Jackie Mayer Day here at the Cedar Point Museum because she donated her gloves that she wore and several of the programs and tickets, and she'll be here so that people can bring their family members in and they can wear her crown.
Well, as we look around, one of the things folks would like to know about are the hours, because obviously being affiliated here with the Merry-Go-Round Museum, what are the hours here to come in and enjoy this?
We're exactly tied to the Merry-Go-Round Museum's hours, so this time of the year, it's 10 to 4 every day except Monday, and we're closed on Monday and noon till 4 on Sundays.
What's amazing is that you've made this happen in such a quick way too, because you haven't been here that long, and certainly it's a labor of love, and I would tend to think that the folks here in our area have enjoyed being a part of this and helping you put this together.
They certainly have, but again, our goal is to bring people downtown.
There you go.
Again, Cedar Point is Sandusky, Sandusky is Cedar Point. One of the other things we're doing is tying our history together by having a Hall of Fame of greater Sanduskians who worked at Cedar Point over 25 years.
Excellent.
We're going to have a plaque up with their name, the years they worked, and again, we want to preserve the history, the tremendous history of Cedar Point and Sandusky together.
And the key word about Cedar Point and family was always fun, and it still is today, and certainly you have shown that this is a labor of love for you folks here that put this together. David, I'd like to thank you very much for helping us show us around, and certainly this is a facility that you don't have to come in once, you can come in more than once and enjoy it.
Every time you come in, you'll see new and different things.
You can tell that, that's for sure. We're going to take a quick break and continue along here on North Coast Spotlight. Next up, the Food Dude. And I'll tell you one thing, that's a man that knows where to go to find the good food. Right here on Columbus Avenue in downtown Sandusky with the new streetscape. We're going to go blow maybe 2 blocks down the street, and that's where we're going to go find the Food Dude over at Daly's.
And it's time for another food edition on the North Coast Spotlight. Do we have a treat for you today? We are at a staple in the Sandusky community, Daly's Bar and Pub on the corner of Columbus Avenue and Water Street. And I'm excited to take you into Daly's Pub and see what they have to offer. Let's go inside. And I'm joined now by Dave Beer, owner here at Daly's Pub in Sandusky. And Dave, thanks for having us into your place here. It's not just the St. Patty's Day bar. I come in here after golf. I see a ton of people in here. You have a great mix of locals, a great mix of tourists, but tell us a little bit about the history of Daly's Pub.
Well, we bought this, my brother-in-law, wife, and I, back in 1998 from the Baxter family. And I believe the Baxter family bought a couple different buildings. blew out some walls and opened it, and the Daly's name came from Dr. Baxter's wife's maiden name was Daly. So that started that, and then we bought it from their family in '98 and just rolled with that, kept the name, and expanded the menu, expanded the staff, and just kept moving along over the past, I think it's our 28th season now.
You couldn't be positioned in a better, better spot here on the corner of Columbus and Water to just take in the views. You've got outdoor patio. It really is a good mix of locals, and because of your location, a lot of tourists, isn't it? But speak to a little bit about just how the locals have supported your bar over the years.
Yeah, they're unbelievable. Locals been coming in ever since we bought it, and they just get better and better. And I tell you, like you say, at 11 o'clock on Monday through Friday, you got a handful that we know walking in. We open at 10 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday. The same deal. They roll in at 10, and then even on Sunday we have our own little Daly's Bar Church. And it's fun.
And I have your menu here, and a phenomenal menu, and it's not just bar food. I follow you on social media, and the daily specials are phenomenal. It's a lot more than just bar food, your menu, isn't it?
It goes from entrees, the burgers, the wings, soup, salads, and there's always a couple of daily specials as well. We rotate our soups very often, and lunches are phenomenal down here, and they keep getting better and better, even throughout the winter. Unless there's a blizzard, and we rarely shut down ever. We shut down on Labor Day and the day after, so the staff has some time off. Other than that, we're full go the rest of the year.
Fantastic. Well, I skipped breakfast in anticipation of trying some really good food here. So without further ado, let's try some of the things on your menu. Through the magic of television, your kitchen looks like they were busy at work here. And we have got a smorgasbord of stuff here. We're gonna try the Reuben, it looks like, a cheeseburger. We've got some perch. You tell me you've got great wings and a couple cocktails. This looks like an appetizer, even though I'm sure people eat wings for dinner. What do we have here?
I think those are the garlic farm wings. It's always fresh, never frozen there. And we make our own sauces here in-house as well.
As good a wing as I've had in Sandusky. Phenomenal wing, very good. Cooked to perfection. I hate it, that's a big wing, and sometimes they undercook them, but this thing crunches perfect. And this thing right here, I need a ruler to measure that thing. I mean, look at how much corned beef is on that. Tell us, this is your most popular thing on the menu?
It's probably our signature item, the Reuben. And so we cook the corned beef, boil it daily, and shave it down. We also have the Reuben wraps as well. Yeah, very good. Nice.
Did you say boil it daily?
Yes.
That right there is a home run. I mean, you could open a restaurant, and if you had a good cocktail and that Reuben, you'd be a success. I don't get to be my size and weight by eating a lot of salad, so I'll keep just a little bit of that on there. But this is still a huge burger. Half pound, third pound?
They're half pound. Always fresh beef, never frozen again, hand packed every day.
Look at that juice.
Made to order, yes.
I don't know how your chef knew I'm a medium, but that is a perfect medium. Juicy, the taste of it phenomenal. French fry, seasoned fry.
Yes, I believe seasoned
beer battered?
No, just regular, lightly seasoned.
We are located here right on the Sandusky Bay. This could have jumped right out of the bay, right into your kitchen, and that's like a perch dinner on a bun. That's so much, I'm gonna pull two of those off, just so I can get my mouth around this thing. Lake Erie perch, being here in downtown Sandusky on the water, you have to have a good perch sandwich.
Yes, Lake Erie perch, fresh. We get it daily from lake fish down here. We probably go through hundreds of pounds of fresh perch, mainly through the summer and so on. The only time we don't get it fresh is in the winter time, and it's still Lake Erie perch we get from lake fish.
Fantastic. That is as good a perch as I've had.
Awesome.
And then we're gonna finish this off with I think she said this was a cherry limeade.
We might be opposite, but I think that might be the watermelon Cosmo. This might be the cherry limeade.
Wow. That is the watermelon Cosmo.
Okay, tasty.
I get the taste of watermelon in there. Again, another fabulous drink. You have so many cocktails. You have a menu for your cocktails.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about one of the things I know you're proud of. This bar is hardly ever closed. I mean, you have employees that are family, and they want to come in on open days where maybe you would close it. But tell us a little bit about your hours and your social media.
Yeah, going back 100%, the staff is family, and we do pride ourselves in their longevity of the staff as well. And like you say, we are really open 364 days a year. The only day is Labor Day and the day after for the staff to have some fun with themselves as well. And yeah, there's somebody gives up a shift, somebody's right on it. They're begging for shifts, this and that. The kitchen just is phenomenal. The front of the house is phenomenal. They work so well together. And I just can't say anything more about our staff and the family down here at Daly's. So.
Well, I can't thank you enough for allowing us to come here today, to be able to come into what I think is the staple of downtown Sandusky. When I think of bars and restaurants and places to go have fun, to me, Sandusky and Daly's are synonymous with fun. So I want to take time to say thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
As much as I'd love to talk to you a little more, I don't want this food to get cold, so I'm going to get after it. I know you're a busy man and got other things to do, but thanks for having us.
Manja, thank you.
Daly's Pub, it's a home run in downtown Sandusky. If you haven't been here, you've got to get there. That's going to be a wrap on the food segment here. I think we're going to go to one of Dave and Laney's other bars and have a nightcap, either Landmark or the Shore House. But thank you again for watching. And remember, support your local businesses here in downtown Sandusky and in the area. I'm the food dude, and when it comes to food, I don't mess around.
Moving along here on this edition of North Coast Spotlight, again in downtown Sandusky, right along the waterfront. As you can see, a lot of history here in this town, a lot of beautiful buildings in this new streetscape that just been opened here in the last couple of weeks. People are getting out and really enjoying themselves. Well, we've had the food dude, we had a nice segment over at the museum here in downtown Sandusky. Now it's time to talk a little sports with Mike Lilje. And Mike's got a couple of guests. We're going to talk a little bit of old basketball, some new basketball. If you're a Sandusky fan, you'll certainly remember the coach from many years ago and the new coach now. I'll turn it over to Mike.
Welcome back into North Coast Spotlight, and I thought it would be fun since Sandusky boys basketball had such a great season that we'd spend a little time talking about streak ball, and it was a fun ride for us. It was probably even more fun for the guys here joining me. They have a master's in streak ball. We've got John Schleshman, longtime coach, and of course he works with us here at BCSN, and DeMar Moore, the current head coach of the four-time defending SBC Lake Division champions, district champions, and now regional champions this year for the first time. And DeMar, before we get too far into it, what did that feel like when the buzzer sounds and you guys win that regional championship?
It's just an amazing, unbelievable feeling. Words can't describe the way it felt. I mean, it's just a wonderful time for our program, our team, our school.
And John, we'll talk quite a bit about your days with the Blue Streaks, and you coached DeMar, but you go back to the beginning of streak ball because you were the guy who kind of started that moniker. And when you get to Sandusky High School, you walk into the gym, you see Scott May's number, obviously a lot of tradition there, but you guys worked hard to kind of build that program back up.
It was a total effort of a lot of people, but I wanted to compliment Dave Wilbur, who was the previous coach. He was very friendly and very receptive to anything I wanted to ask him. And then when I first started coaching, I was only 23 years old when I interviewed for the Perkins job. And we would go across the street, down the street, and play with some of the Sandusky guys. And Gary Reynolds was a wonderful asset for me to help me as a young coach. However, the expectations, quite honestly, weren't very high for Sandusky basketball. It didn't seem like people were expecting us to be that good in the Buckeye Conference. And it was a little slow starting. We were right around the 500 mark, a little below the first 2 years. And but we started to develop younger players, younger players through junior high, 2 teams in all the junior high system, and it kind of took off. And I always thought Sandusky was a sleeping giant. Perhaps you get things going, you could have a really solid basketball program. And I was fortunate enough that they trusted me. Listen, you've got to have players to win We won 41 straight conference games, and it wasn't because of me. We had excellent athletes, and they bought into the excitement of the program. No one wanted to let that streak stop. Winning 41 straight games in a Division I league, that's a pretty good deal. And we won the league, I don't know how many years in a row. And just to show you how good our players were, 1991, Darby McDaniel was All-Ohio, made the All-Ohio North-South team. In 93, DeShay Jones, and he was coach's player of the year in Ohio. In 94, we had a little guy named Orlando Pace that was in the North-South game.
Yeah, just a wee little guy.
Yeah. And then in 95, I can't remember his name, DeMar somebody, but DeMar Moore. And they all played in the North-South game at St. John's Arena from our little school, Sandusky. So we had players.
DeMar, for you as a player, what was the intensity level like when you guys are playing Fremont Ross? Not non-conference game at the time in the Erie Shore, but still you're playing a Ross team that has Charles Woodson and a ton of athletes. What's the intensity like in those rivalry games?
Just fired up. And, a lot of that comes from us watching, the guys before us, just seeing how hard they played and how, one of my earliest memories is Terrell Green laying on the floor after a game like he was just spent, like he gave it his all. And I always dreamed to be playing like that, so that kind of created that culture. And like when you see like that Fremont team, it just Fremont alone makes you want to just go to battle.
DeMar, what are some of your memories of Coach Schlesman from his days making you run gassers and yelling at you and stuff like that?
Oh, just being intense. Coach was always intense. I just remember right when the game started, if we're not playing hard, that you hear that horn and you see 5 guys walking to the scorer's table, and he taking all 5 out. And he made us play hard. He made sure we play hard. You know what I mean? The X's and O's, he did a great job with that, but he made sure we played hard. I think every team that I was a part of playing for Coach, we all played hard from 1 through 12.
You think about your time at Bowling Green, you look at your career, you score over 900 points. You were a Defensive Player of the Year in the MAC. And I think we talked about this before we went on the air. I think that was the best era of MAC basketball. Everywhere you looked, there was NBA dudes. There was Earl Boykins and Bonzi Wells and Wally Zerbiak and Ira Newble. And then the non-NBA dudes were pretty good too, like Geno Smith and Gus Johnson, who we all know from this area.
Derek Dials. I mean, it was a great league. I mean, every night was a tough game. We didn't win the MAC my sophomore year, the year I got Defensive Player of the Year, because we went to Puerto Rico and we came back and we lost to Central Michigan, who was the worst team in the league at the time. We didn't go to the NCAA tournament because of that loss. We ended up tying for the league championship.
What did you learn from all those guys along the way that you brought into your coaching philosophies?
I think just their style, how they relate to kids and players. Coach was more of a teacher, you know what I mean, where Coach Larinaga is more of a player's coach. He gives you a lot of freedom. When you got Coach Dockage, who is more of a disciplinarian. So just taking pieces of everybody's style and trying to put it into my own and using what I felt worked best for me, as a player, you know what I mean, and just trying to use that to help me as a coach.
Well, you go into next year as the 4-time reigning champions of the SBC Lake Division. Now, the last year, Sandusky will be in the SBC. Not too much will change other than the conference name. What do you see in this younger group coming up now that they learned from the seniors who just graduated to try and keep the streak rolling?
I think they understand the importance of being a team. You know what I mean? The group we had last year was really a tight-knit group, and I think tournament time, they kind of locked in and decided, they made a few packs, as a team. And I think that tightness is what kind of, these guys, because they're a bunch of stars or, individual stars in their own rights or whatever. And for us to be successful next year, we have to put all that together. And I think them being a part of, last year, what happened last year with our team and stuff, that'll help quite a bit.
I want to thank both of you for spending some time with us, because like I said, it was a great year for Sandusky basketball, a historic year winning that regional championship, and I thought you two were the perfect people to talk Sandusky Blue Streak basketball with. So a big thank you to you, DeMar, because I know you don't get a lot of free time during the course of the summer with your Blue Streak schedule. And John, I see you all the time, but thank you anyhow.
All right, Mike, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Great job, Mike. And always good to hear from John Schlussman and, of course, DeMar Moore and the success they've had at Sandusky basketball over the last few years. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of North Coast Spotlight. As always, a little food. We had some sports and, of course, a little bit of history and other things that go on in our area. And we certainly hope you enjoyed this edition. The summer of 2025 is upon us, so be sure to get outside and enjoy yourself. And as always, we try to bring you the best of people, activities, and events that take place in our area right here on North Coast Spotlight.